Boy, do we have a lot to talk about when it comes to The Rock. So I've done videos on this all week, and there's still more to talk about. And this is actually a pretty important one because I think I figured out what's going on. I did do a live stream last night. We did the KLB WrestleMania recap. We talked about this. And also yesterday, I did a video about The Rock and his appearance on the Pat McAfee show. Well, guess what? I wasn't the only one to make content about that. Tons of people in the wrestling space did, including Dave LaGreca from Busted Open. So The Rock has decided to reach out to him and leave this comment. Now, when you look at this comment, something became very apparent. And this is something that I've been suspicious about for quite some time. But now we actually have evidence. There is evidence now that The Rock and Triple H do not see eye to eye, and that there is, without question, a behind the scenes power struggle going on. Like, now we know this for certain. And I can prove it to you. I can prove it to you here on this video, because publicly everybody will act like everything's okay, and we're doing the best we can. And I think that Triple H and The Rock both have some blame to do with the WrestleMania 41 finish. I think Cody Rhodes wound up being the guy who unfortunately suffered. But let's go back and look at the timetable of this, okay? Because this message says a lot. And there's two things with this. So, The Rock on Pat McAfee revealed that he wasn't even supposed to be involved in the WrestleMania 41 build, and that Ari Emanuel called him and asked him to make an appearance to move tickets for Elimination Chamber, which led to the Cena heel turn. And then The Rock decided, well, that's enough, I'm going to step away and let John and Cody handle it. Now, a lot of people did not buy that, because why would you be such an integral part of a storyline and then suddenly back away from it? It doesn't make sense. And there's been people who have been theorizing that The Rock may have actually sabotaged Cody and Triple H. And now we have evidence that may prove that. Last year, The Rock appeared after a couple years of teasing it and wanted to have his match with Roman Reigns, but because Cody and, on the other hand, Triple H wanted the story to be finished and the fans revolted against it, The Rock had to change all the plans, turn heel, and introduce the final boss character. Now that wound up being good and gave us some great television, and it was fine. Then at WrestleMania Night 1, The Rock gets a clean pinfall win over Cody. And then on the Monday after WrestleMania Night 2, he insinuates that the story between the two is not over. And then he goes away for a while, makes an appearance at Bad Blood. Then he kills both the Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes feuds on the first Raw on Netflix by giving Roman Reigns the tribal chief Ulafala, and by shouting out Cody Rhodes. And we've talked about this. I have talked about this in numerous videos, right? This is no surprise to anybody. But there's the reason why I'm bringing this back up is because of the Triple H factor here. Triple H is the head of creative. He is partially to blame for a lot of the WrestleMania issues. However, there is no question there's a behind-the-scenes struggle with these guys that goes all the way back to the mid-90s when they were both on the way up. And I can prove this to you. And unfortunately, we're in a situation now where the business, these guys and their egos and their dislike for each other is now hurting the rest of the company. Let me explain what I mean. So I mentioned already that The Rock has a pinfall win over Cody. I mentioned that The Rock has unfinished business with Cody. So why would the final boss character step away and let John and Cody do the rest of the story when The Rock was a pivotal participant in that story? Well, There is a possibility, in fact, I feel like it's likely, that The Rock sabotaged Triple H's creative on purpose. Because the one thing about The Rock is on that appearance on Pat McAfee, he came off incredibly arrogant. Like, my respect for The Rock has gone down. He's done this type of stuff before. That WWE documentary with the WrestleMania 40, like, remember how that was supposed to come out? Like the Wednesday after Mania, and then it got postponed for months, and there was no announcement. There's a lot of things going on that The Rock is. The Rock is very much, in my opinion, I don't know the guy personally, but based on his behavior, he's very arrogant, very self centered as a shoot. And he seems to be a guy who really doesn't give a damn about elevating Cody or Cena, and even no matter what he says, and really cares more about elevating himself. He comes back so he can do Ari Emanuel a favor, then disappears and ends up hurting WrestleMania. Now, listen to what I'm telling you. Look at this message that The Rock sent to Dave. First of all, very passive aggressive. He says, "Hi Dave, the business is a complete work. Always has been, always will be. Every aspect of her, every match, every interview." Telling that to Dave LaGreca is so disrespectful and insulting. Hey, oh, let me pat you on the head, Dave, like you're 10 years old. Don't worry, it's a work. Now, look at this next part. Please join me, Cody, Cena, Brian, and the rest of us for our creative discussions so you can expand your perspective. Until then, stop ranting. It's not healthy, my friend. Enjoy the show. P.S. Tell Bubba I have Grand Marnier and Hush Puppies for all of us. This comment is so passive aggressive. And, okay, first of all, please join us for our creative discussions. Until then, stop ranting. It's the same thing Triple H has been doing. No, don't criticize us. Don't criticize the product. No, guys, just enjoy the show. Just enjoy the show, guys. No, like, we've done this already. We've been along for the ride. The Rock told us last year, remember how he kept saying, shut up and let The Rock take you on a journey? And it worked last year. But there was promise for the future this year. That's not going to work anymore. But look what he wrote here. Please join me, Cody, Cena, Brian, and the rest of us for our creative discussions. Why wasn't Triple H mentioned? Where's Paul? Why is Paul not mentioned here if he's the head of creative? Was this done by complete accident? Am I reading too much into it? Why is it that during Triple H's Hall of Fame speech, and I actually sat through and heard the whole thing, I don't remember once him shouting out The Rock. He gave credit to Ric Flair. He gave credit to Steve Austin. He gave credit to Shawn Michaels, Killer Kowalski, William Regal, all these guys that helped out his career. Even Vince McMahon, but not The Rock. Triple H and The Rock feuded in 96. The Rock won the IC title from him on Raw Thursday in February of 96. They feuded again in 98 for the Intercontinental title, and they had that crazy ladder match. They feuded again in 99 in the fall when actually in the summertime, building up to Triple H's first title run. They had the fully loaded strap match, and they kept feuding more. Then in 2000, they feuded for almost the entire year. Triple H and The Rock, during their runs in the Attitude Era, feuded with each other more than any other top act, even more than Taker and Austin. So wait a minute, this is your dance partner, and you're telling me that you don't want to credit him in your Hall of Fame speech for having great matches? Dwayne doesn't bring up Paul? You do understand that this can't be an accident. You guys know that The Rock was close to Bret Hart. And there was a time when the Clique was really causing problems for The Rock and Bret Hart. This has been talked about numerous times. And The Rock did not like the way things went down with the Montreal Screwjob, being friends with the Hart family. Triple H was on the other side. Then what happens? He has to drop the IC title to The Rock, the blue chipper, in 96. Actually, that was before the Bret Hart thing. And then in 98, The Rock becomes the WWF champion before Triple H could even get there. Triple H didn't get that till the night after SummerSlam 99. So there's always been a bit of jealousy. There's always been a bit of, competitiveness and not friendly. I don't believe these two guys like each other. I think they can come out and put each other over on press conferences and stuff like that. I don't think these guys like each other. And the fact that The Rock on Pat McAfee was like, I would have twisted this a little bit and done it a little bit different, which is basically him saying, I didn't like the way Triple H had done this, or Cody, or Cena. He buried Triple H, and it's very passive-aggressive bearing. He's not straight up saying Triple H sucks, but he definitely was saying, I would have done it differently. Not we. I would have done it differently. And I see through this guy now, man. And I was a fan of The Rock since, like, the Nation of Domination. I've been a fan of The Rock most of my life. I've seen a lot of The Rock's movies. Like, I've never really disliked The Rock, even though we hear stories. You hear stories. And obviously with Triple H, there was a time in my life where I didn't like him. I came around on him during the days of the mid-2000s, after the 2.5 year death grip he had on the world title when he dropped the title to Benoit, and then he did clean jobs to Batista and John Cena on back-to-back years for WrestleMania. And then, of course, during his NXT time period, I really loved Triple H. And then when he took over for Vince on creative, when Vince had to leave, he did a pretty phenomenal job, I would say, for the first couple of years. But these guys seem to have this prima donna, beef, this drama. This is not even speculation anymore, yo. This isn't even like we're guessing. Why would Rock not mention him? Why would Triple H not mention Rock in the Hall of Fame speech? There's a lot of things that we are not privy to behind the scenes. But if you keep your eyes open and really pay attention, you will notice these things. You will see that there's definitely a behind the scenes struggle. The Rock shows up, muddies the waters, fucks with the creative. People have to go in and make last minute changes, which I know annoys Triple H. They have to go in and change the direction and the trajectory of the storylines because Dwayne wants to do it different. And then Rock doesn't care enough to even show up, which to me, The Rock has been in the business his whole life. There's no way he couldn't have known, I need to be at WrestleMania for this. He's not that stupid. He's not. He did it on purpose. He skipped WrestleMania on purpose to make Cody, Cena, and Triple H look bad. And I fully believe that. And I think Ari Emanuel and Nick Khan, I think they are the ones that told Rock to go on Pat McAfee and do damage control. But it's not like The Rock ever put over Triple H on the show. And he even said he would have tweaked the creative. Dude, this guy's got his head up his ass, man. Like, there's just no argument about it. Like, you're just a fool if you think otherwise. And that's kind of the way I see things, yo. So, I have evidence right there. Go watch that long-ass Triple H induction speech. No mention of The Rock. That's not an accident. I'll catch you in the next video.